Good day everyone, I am Joycin T. Sablon. My study is entitled Knowledge and Practices on Infant Care Among First-Time Mothers. Throughout the world, notable progress has been made in reducing infant mortality. However, challenges persist, particularly in low-income countries where access to healthcare remains limited. The Philippines continues to struggle with high infant mortality, with 20,072 infant deaths recorded in 2022. Key factors contributing to these high mortality rates include inadequate healthcare facilities, poverty, and gaps in maternal education. In 2018, Iloilo City recorded an infant mortality rate of 21.8%, the second highest in the Western Visayas region. Addressing these issues presents an opportunity to improve healthcare access, advance maternal education, and strengthen public health initiatives. Despite significant advancements in healthcare, many communities still struggle with medical accessibility and maternal education. Bridging the gap in healthcare knowledge and access within communities is crucial to reducing infant mortality rates. This study aims to determine the knowledge and practices on infant care among first-time mothers in Santa Barbara, Iloilo. The relationship between the variables on this study is represented in the conceptual framework. The concept shows how the knowledge on infant care, which is the independent variable, affects the practices on infant care, which is the dependent variable, among the first-time mothers of Santa Barbara, Iloilo. For the general objective, this study aims to determine the knowledge and practices on infant care among first-time mothers in Santa Barbara, Iloilo. It specifically aims to determine the demographic characteristics of the respondents, the level of knowledge of first-time mothers regarding infant care, the practices of first-time mothers on infant care, and lastly, if there is significant relationship between level of knowledge and practices among first-time mothers. Significance of the study. The results of this study were of prime importance to the following. Mothers. The mothers would gain direct benefits through knowledge of best practices on infant care, which could lead to better health outcomes for their infants, which can help empower mothers to make better decisions about the overall health of their infants. Families. The adequate knowledge on infant care will also benefit the whole family. They will have more knowledge, skills, and practices which can contribute more efficiently and effectively in caring infant. Healthcare providers, the nurses, midwives, and doctors that work in maternal and child health would benefit from the study, as well as by learning the specific needs and gaps in knowledge among mothers in district. This way, they can tailor making their educational and support services. Local health executives or community health practitioners. The results of this study can be of value to local health executives and community-based practitioners in regard to maternal and child health. They could use the findings to inform or develop interventions or education programs directed towards the populations they serve, including workshops, seminars, and outreach campaigns aimed at improving infant care practices. Policy experts. The government officials and policy experts may find this study valuable in informing and supporting change and improvements for policy and healthcare services within maternal and child health. Researchers. This study can inform the current body of research particular to maternal and child health and provide researchers with trends, gaps in current knowledge, and identify areas for future investigation. Academia. Academic beneficiaries of this study can include nursing and medical students, professors in the field of health, researchers and graduate students, scholars in public health and social science, and academic institutions as a whole. The findings could contribute to the development of curriculum, support evidence-based teaching practices, and lay the context for future research on maternity and infant care. Research shows that while most mothers have a positive attitude and engage in key caregiver practices, their knowledge is often limited by factors like education, income, and culture. Fresca linked maternal education and income to infant care knowledge, highlighting the need for targeted educational programs. Dukozo Morimie found that despite awareness of exclusive breastfeeding, many mothers were unaware of the 6-month recommendation affecting adherence. Complementary feeding is also crucial. Bempong noted that while parents understood dietary diversity, few children met recommendations, with maternal knowledge and father's income being key factors. Bongola and Paschal showed maternal knowledge influences caregiver practices in cord care and sensory stimulation, though gaps remain in pain and fever management. Immunization awareness is another vital factor. Galinga found that despite knowing schedules, mothers still held myths necessitating more awareness campaigns. Cultural beliefs also impact maternal health practices. Valladolid highlighted conflicts between tradition and evidence-based care, while Ebuenga stressed the need to correct myths affecting feeding, hygiene, and infant care. This research will employ a quantitative research design. More specifically, it will be a survey correlation design, as the study is interested in exploring the relationship between mothers' knowledge and practices on infant care. A correlational research design is appropriate when investigating relationships between at least two variables without a researcher manipulating the variables. The participants in this study are individuals who are first-time mothers, Gen X and Gen Z, located in different barangays of Santa Barbara, Iloilo, who have children 0 to 3 years old. Those who will not meet the criteria will be excluded in the study. The study will utilize a simple random sample. A simple random sample is a basic sampling technique where the researcher selects a sample group of subjects for a study from a larger group. Each person is selected totally by chance, and each member of the population has an equal chance of being included in the sample. Using Rossopp's sample size calculator enables the researcher to arrive at a representative sample that represents the characteristics of a target population. This approach is ideal for systematically and reliably selecting respondents from different barangays in Santa Barbara, Iloilo. Research instrument. The primary tool for this study will be a self-administered questionnaire developed by the researcher based on Department of Health, World Health Organization, Expanded Program on Immunization, Philippine Pediatric Society, Integrated Management of Childhood Illnesses, and Essential Intrapartum and Newborn Care. The researcher will draft a questionnaire based on the research goals of the study, which is to assess knowledge and practices on infant care and for first-time mothers. The self-administered questionnaire will be made up of 3 parts. Demographic profile. This part will collect demographic information about the respondents, including educational attainment, religion, civil status, and family's monthly income. Knowledge on infant care. This part will assess the respondents' knowledge on infant care with respect to nutrition, hygiene, immunization practices, safe sleep practices, and common illnesses. Infant care practices. This part will assess first-time mothers' application of knowledge to real-life caregiving practices, including compliance with infant care practice guidelines and practices. Once the researcher established the validity and reliability of the data gathering instrument, researcher will formally seek permission to conduct the study by writing a letter to the head of Graduate School of Nursing at Central Philippine University. This letter will be shared with the Research Ethics Review Board of Central Philippine University for notification and part of the ethical clearance application process. Upon receipt of approval, the researcher will forward the letter to the local government unit and barangay health workers of Santa Barbara, Iloilo after permission. The researcher will request or obtain a list of first-time mothers. Furthermore, a second letter will be provided to the LGU or BHW seeking permission to complete research in their locality. Once complete, the researcher will work through the LGU or BHW to confirm their permission to conduct research as well. Following this, randomization of some of the study participants will occur based on the calculated sample size formula through a verification process. Prior to any data gathering process, respondents will sign an informed consent form. The data gathering itself will be face-to-face, whereby the respondents will be given printed survey questionnaires to complete. The responses will be collected and subsequently safely secured by the researchers according to the data collection schedule. When the data have been collected, it will be arranged and analyzed using appropriate statistical tools to achieve the study objectives. From the information collected, the researcher will formulate important conclusions which will address the study objectives. All respondents' information will be kept confidential and ethical principles will be maintained throughout the entire process. Prior to collecting any data, the researcher will obtain approval by submitting the research study for review to the Central Philippine University Research Ethics Review Board. The board will conduct a thorough review of the study to confirm that it meets current ethical standards and guidelines. The information that will be obtained from the survey questionnaires answered by the respondents will be organized and tabulated in a program called Microsoft Excel, which is a spreadsheet program. And while administering the questionnaire, each answer will receive a distinct identification code that will not only be utilized to sort and create a database containing the provided information, but also maintain the anonymity of the informants during the data analysis process. After the data will be exported from MS Excel to statistical package for the social sciences, SPSS version 25, which will be cleaned and defined in preparation for data analysis using the appropriate statistical test. The independent variable knowledge on infant care and dependent variable practices on infant care will be treated as ordinal data. Descriptive statistics will describe the findings of the responses, and inferential statistics, persons R correlation coefficient, will be used to analyze the relationship between both variables. That will be all. Thank you and God bless.